Welcome back, everybody. I've had this spider for almost a year now, so I'm going to do a video on how it's held up. I'm just using my phone because it'd be easier than getting out my action cam. So I just washed it and waxed it yesterday. We're getting ready for our trip. We're leaving Wednesday to head down to Knoxville, and then Thursday we're going to go down into the Smoky Mountains. And these are the shad bags in here. Lately I just leave them on all the time. So the plastics are holding up pretty good. And like I said, it was just washed and waxed yesterday. You know, and the purpose of this video is just my issues I've had with it, the things I don't like about it, and the things I love about a Can-Am Spyder. So I'm gonna go get my helmet on, and we're gonna go for a ride, and we're gonna talk about everything that's been replaced, things that haven't been replaced, and things that need to be replaced. So give me a couple minutes and we'll be on the road. Welcome back, everybody. Happy 4th of July weekend. Oh, we might pause this here for a second. They're putting in a pipeline. So they're putting in a pipeline down through here. We're coming up on to where I've had the Spyder a year, so we're going to call this one the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to do a review on my Spyder, and today we're on State Route 374. You can follow this in the back way to Old Man's Cave, and it's a gorgeous route. I did this yesterday, but I don't think I'm gonna like the blog, can't even say it. I don't think I'm gonna like it, so I'm just gonna do part of it today. So let's, I bought this thing, it was a leftover 2015. I bought it in July of 2016. I currently have 27,549.4 miles on this. So, the good. Well, you know, for me, it's the fact that it's a Can-Am Spyder. I have a third wheel out there for reassurance in slippery conditions, if I come into a corner too hot, gravel, leaves, you know, all that stuff that when I was on two wheels I really worried about. So the stability of this thing is incredible. How this thing handles is absolutely amazing. You know, it's a little different than a bike. On the Spyder, you want to float it into the corner and then accelerate hard out of it. So 50 miles per hour off the gas, floating in, hard off. So that's how you do a corner on a Spyder. It's a little different, I think. So how this thing handles, remarkable. The 1330 motor, tons of low end torque. You know, we always wish that whatever we ride and drive has more power. You know, and sometimes two up, I wish this one did, but the 1330 is a remarkable motor, a little 3-cylinder. What else I like about it is all the safety features. You know, we got traction control, stability control, analog brakes. We got big Brumbo brakes on this bad boy, and I put a set of EBC brake pads with it, and this thing will haul it down. So 50 miles per hour, clutch in, on the brake. Haul it down. Love it. The comfort of this thing too. I came from I'm in fourth gear. I came from a Can-Am Spyder STS. And that thing had floorboards on it. My feet were straight down like the RT. Adjustable windscreen. But how I sat on it, it really hurt my upper back. So I'm going to compare this to that. This thing, in my opinion, is a lot more comfortable. This is set up like a cruiser. My first motorcycle was a cruiser. I like my feet out in front of me. I think it's very comfortable that way. You can plant your feet on the pegs and push back into the seat, and then you're really secure. Instead of grasping your knees against the tank, you just push forward on the pegs. So for me, and I know a lot of people don't like their feet forward, I think it's very comfortable. So those are the highlights of the good. The bad, there's only a couple things that I'm going to say are bad about this. And I'm going to say number one. I'm going to make sure I'm still recording. Okay, so number one, bad, and it's really bad. At 40 miles per hour, it's fine, no issues. Anything over 55 and this windscreen is horrendous. It buffets your helmet so bad that it affects your eyesight, and it not just slightly affects your eyesight. Like for me to this mailbox at speed, I can't make out words sometimes because it's buffeting the helmet so bad. And I have the Blue Ridge Can-Am factory windscreen. Now if I was a little shorter, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. I'm 5'11". It is horrendous. Number two is the rear shock. So I knew that when I bought it that we were going to have issues with the rear shock. So I asked the people there at my dealership, hey, I've heard that the rear shock is really soft on these. And it's not really the shock, it's the coil spring. It's just not a... It's not heavy enough. It's a very soft spring. So I'm 270 pounds, and at 27,000 miles, it's done. It's been done for a while. I need to replace it. So they make an occasional two-up. So they say if you're ever two-up, that's what you have to put on this thing. Well, yeah, this thing's done with just me, one up. Hardly ever anymore does my wife or my daughter come with me. So the rear spring is way too soft on this thing. So for those that are looking at a base model F3, if you're over 150 to 170 pounds, you know, that's one thing that you would definitely want to look into, is just order that new shock. This one, I mean, the Fox shocks are awesome on the front. You go over a bump and they do what they're supposed to do. On the rear, you bottom out. My tire has made contact with the plastics underneath the seat. It's bottomed out to where the spiders make contact with the tire. So you definitely have to get that replaced. Besides that, you know, I don't think there's any other negatives. You know, if it had a different windscreen, you do get a little heat that pulls up because you have all this dead air right here. So you do get heat that travels up your legs. So if it's 95 degrees, but you know, that's to be expected. It's a half naked motorcycle. You know, you're going to get some heat. Okay, so now, you know, let's see if I can find anything else that I don't like about it. We got the windscreen and we have the rear shock. You know, maintenance might be a little bit more expensive, but you know, motorcycles are expensive. They're expensive to maintain. You're putting tires on it every 10 to 14,000 miles. You know, you go with a different tire, which I made a video about, they last a lot longer and they're a lot cheaper. So I wouldn't even say maintenance. If you compare this to any other motorcycle in its class, it's probably going to be the same, to be honest with you. So let's talk about the ugly. And part of the ugly has to do with whenever you buy a motorcycle or even a spyder. Let's just leave it with a spyder. Whenever you buy a spyder, you want to make sure you get it from a good dealership. The dealership's going to make everything so much better. If you have an issue, a good service department is going to make your experience completely different than if you have a bad one. So I did some shopping around because I came from a bad dealer I thought was a bad dealer. Everybody I talk to, they think it's a bad dealer, and I'm not going to throw their name out right now because I don't deal with them anymore. So after having a bad dealer, I wanted to have a good experience, and I knew a good dealer would be part of that experience. So I ended up at Middletown Cycle. I was just calling around and to every dealer, and I was sharing the experience I had, and told them, you know, I don't want to have that experience, and could they help me out? And by chance, I was talking with the owner, Briya, and she made me feel very comfortable and warm, and that they would take care of me. So I took my the one I had currently, a 2014 Can-Am Spyder STS 2014 V-twin, took it down there. It said a month in their shop. You know, I'm not even complaining about that. You know, that's just what it was. But I was tired of it being down all the time. I lost 7 months in less than 2 years on that Spyder. So we contacted BRP, and BRP kicked in a little bit. The shop bought the old one just over payoff, and with this one being a leftover, it was discounted pretty heavily. So I was able to get $7 grand off of this brand new. So I got a good deal. So with this one, the ugly is, first oil change, we had some metal in the oil. It's common. Second oil change, same issue. So I had it in the shop in December because the front latch on the front was busted. They replaced it. They didn't adjust it properly. I had to adjust the actual latch so I could open it and close it properly, and there's a video on how to do that. It's super simple. They told me that metal in the motor was normal. I told them they were full of crap. I don't know how many miles I had on it then, 17,000 miles. Not only was there metal on the drain plug, but there was metal in the oil filter. So, you know, here we go. This is ugly. So March 12th-ish, 2017, transmission exploded on the highway. 2 months in the shop. And I have plenty of videos documenting, so I'm just going to kind of quickly go through this. They would tell me that it was going to be done, and it wasn't done. They found more damage, and then they'd tell me, you know, it's going to be done next week, and then they'd find more damage, and then they'd be like, okay, you know, we're going to have it done at this day, and it never was. And they would never call me and let me know what was going on. If it was supposed to be done Wednesday the 23rd, I would call them from work and be like, okay, after work I'm coming down to pick it up. You guys haven't given me an update on it. What's going on? Oh, well, you know, we tore it down some more and we found more damage, or something else was broken. So with this thing being Canadian, whenever they found other things damaged, they had to order it from Canada. So now you're talking, they would order the part at their service department, it would go to their parts department. I don't know how many times a week they would place an order with BRP, if it was every day or 2 times a week or 3 times a week. So then we would order the part, it would ship from Canada, have to clear customs. Some of my parts went to Minnesota before they went to, and I'm not sure about that, they went somewhere before they would go to where this was being fixed, near Cincinnati, Ohio. So it takes forever to get parts. So that's the ugly about these things. If you do have an issue, and if you have a shop that's and I don't want to say Middletown Cycle sucks, but my experience is it could have went a whole lot better. You know, it's hard to find the right words. It was a nightmare, and it's, you know, it was just a straight nightmare. So that's the ugly. You need to find a good shop that you trust, that you can talk to, that if something goes wrong, you can say, hey, what, you guys did this, now you have to fix it, and they stand up and take care of it. You know, I got mine back, and these pieces were broken, my windscreen's broken, they left a piece off, you know, and they have excuse after excuse after excuse. Spyder is your dealer, and how good they are at representing you and your needs to BRP. They need to sell the complaint to BRP, and in this case with Middletown Cycle, they did not at all. So that's the ugly. So you got to find the right shop, and this Buick in front of us is absolutely gorgeous. You know, so just super quick. These things are super comfortable. They're fun to ride. You can still haul it into corners, but if you go into a little too hard, there's some things that will keep you safe. Top notch, love it. One thing I didn't talk about on things I don't like, we got the windscreen, we have the rear shock. We also have the clutch pull on the F3s are hard. It's super stiff. So, windscreen, clutch pull, and rear shock. Even one up, it's not acceptable. So on that, I love the Can-Am Spyder. This thing is super comfortable. So there you go. 27,000 miles. The first year of ownership. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And most of the ugly has, come from the shop. So finding the correct dealer is more important than the deal itself on getting a Spyder. You could go to somewhere and they're going to save you a couple $1,000s, but in the long run, if you have to have service done, you want that service department to have your back every time. So, on that, I'm gonna head home. The wife and I are leaving in a couple days to the Smoky Mountains. I need to find a kit. Oh, nice stop sign. I need to find an oil change analyzing kit so I can send the oil out so I can get this changed. That's going to be the next process in this thing, is sending the oil out to be analyzed every time, just to make sure there's no more internal damage. So next video will be the trip to the Smoky Mountains. I want to thank everybody for watching, for liking, subscribing. If you don't like it, leave a comment. If you do like it, leave a comment. But everybody stay safe, and thank you for coming along.